So, after America's big bailout, what should European leaders be doing to shore up their economies? President Sarkozy has called this mini-summit in Paris today, which will be attended, as I said, by Gordon Brown, as well as Germany's Angela Merkel and Italy's Silvio Berlusconi. So what should they be doing? We're joined now by Jacques Reland. He runs the Global Policy Unit at London's Metropolitan University and is also an expert on European monetary policy. Morning to you, sir. It's your president who called this summit, but what does he hope to get out of it?
He's hoping to get a message of confidence coming out from the leaders. The aim is to restore the confidence of the Europeans into their banking system and to reassure savers and depositors that they will not lose money. That's the first thing. But more importantly, they want to discuss proposals in order to improve the international financial system.
A message, but there's no question of any kind of plan similar to the one we saw passed in Washington last night.
No, that was mooted at some point. It was in the air, just in case there could be a big problem. And this plan has been shut down. There was a talk of a bailout of 300 billion euros, but has been shut down by the Germans. And it would not have worked really. But what they will probably discuss is the possibility, because there could be a possibility of a big bank crashing, or a bank which has cross-border operations crashing in a country which will not have the means to come to the rescue, and in that case they'll probably discuss solutions to have some kind of firefighting plan just in case an accident happens.
How dependent are we in Europe on what the Americans do?
It's quite important. First, I mean, the problem originated in the US, but it's having strong repercussions on the European banking system. The problem is not so, I don't think Europe has so many toxic assets, for example, but the contagion, the lack of trust in the banking system is beginning to affect the economy very much, and especially in Europe, where Europe is far more dependent on the banking system to finance its businesses than the US is, for example. And therefore, restoring the confidence and making sure that banks start lending is crucial if we want to avoid a deep recession in Europe.
Listen, one country that we hear is in deep, deep trouble this morning is Iceland. What's happened to them?
Iceland, I must tell you, I don't know exactly what happened in Iceland, but that is the kind, and Iceland is not actually in the EU as such, but if a problem like that happened in a small country in Europe, where a bank has liabilities which are bigger than the GDP of that country, that would be really very damaging. And that's why Europe should have a solution in case it happened.
Absolutely, Jacques. But I mean, I just wanted to focus on Iceland because it was just last year or something where we were amazed about the number of companies that were being bought up by Icelandic banks. It was extraordinary. And now, all of a sudden, they're in deep trouble.
But it highlights this capitalistic system, which is based on borrowing. You're only as rich as your borrowing limit. And it's a growth which I've seen, which has been financed by debt. And that's why we need new rules in the global financial system in order to make sure that the capital, and that's some of the measures which the summit will discuss today. They will discuss, they won't make decisions, but they will discuss in ways to make sure that there's a greater transparency and a better supervision of the banking system, and therefore they will make proposals to improve the capital requirements of banks, and also one of the big decisions, I think, one of the big proposals on which there will be a consensus today is to change the accountancy system, where assets are based on their market values, which tends to be pro-cyclical and make the situation worse. So changing in accounting rules of the value of assets should be an important step forward.
Just before, I'm sorry, we're almost out of time. Just before I let you go, given that you're an expert on these matters, have you been as shocked as the rest of us at some of the lending that's gone on to get us into this crisis?
Absolutely. I mean, that's one thing. It was unsustainable. We always were amazed, I mean, at the way it was there was in Europe a certain amount of amazement for about countries like the US and Britain. People in France were asking me, but why is Britain, you know, why are people so rich? Why is there so much money there? Why they don't seem to be manufacturing anything but weapons, pharmaceutical and records? And therefore, there was but that's the nature of Anglo-American capitalism, based on debt. And it led to huge wealth creation, but as we see, it also leads to very rapid wealth destruction. And we realize now that the Anglo-American economic system was a paper economy, as you would say, a paper tiger.
Well, grateful for your time today. Certainly given you a lot to think about in lectures at Metropolitan University.
Absolutely, definitely, yeah.
Thank you, Jacques.
Yeah, thank you.